Story 1. MIL burned down our house and got arrested. We truly didn't see this coming. We made a grave mistake by not taking my mother-in-law's threat seriously enough. We thought she was all bark and no bite. The real hero in this story is our dog. Bless him. It happened at night. My husband and I are both heavy sleepers, and we were sound asleep. If our dog hadn't jumped on our bed and barked, we would likely be dead right now. I'm a firefighter, and when I woke, I realized the fire was too large to handle ourselves. We escaped through a window, thankfully unharmed. My colleagues responded to the fire, which was surreal, the first time they'd worked a fire at my own home. They did everything they could, but our house is damaged beyond repair. We can't live there anymore. My mother-in-law was caught, and she essentially condemned herself. She confessed that she'd been hoping until the last minute that her son would come to his senses, break up with me, and date women. When he didn't, she was so ashamed that she'd created such a deformed human being that she decided it was better to have no son than a gay son. She explicitly stated that she wanted to kill him. Consequently, the charges were upgraded from arson with intent to damage property, which carries a lighter sentence, to arson with intent to endanger life, which carries much more severe penalties, potentially including life imprisonment. Our lawyer says she likely won't get the maximum sentence since no one died, but she's facing a significant prison term. There's little her lawyer can do, given her confession. And she said the most unbelievable thing. Well, but my son's faggot husband is a firefighter. Why didn't he save his house? In the middle of the night, just woken up, with no gear, no tools, no equipment, and completely taken by surprise by the fire, what did she expect? Many people think house fires are like they see in movies, flames and light, but it's actually complete darkness. The smoke makes a room so dark within minutes that you can't even see your own hands. A house fire is always like a pitch-black night. We're currently staying with friends while we look for a new place. Our clothing, documents, passports, marriage certificate, everything is gone. But those are just things. We can replace them. We're alive, and that's what matters. My husband is completely done with her. He's devastated that his own mother wanted him dead simply because he's gay. If he still held out hope for reconciliation before, he never wants to hear her name again. Her homophobic hate almost killed us. And it's partly our fault because we didn't take her words and actions seriously enough. We know some gay people with homophobic parents, but they've never actually tried to kill their children. I guess that's why we didn't think it could happen to us. Comment 1. And then she asked my husband what I'm doing for a living, what's my profession, and he told her that I'm a firefighter. Suddenly she seemed a lot happier and she was like, oh, then it's not so bad after all. My husband asked her why would my job change her thoughts about me, and she was like, well, it's a dangerous job. Firefighters often have many accidents. Maybe he'll burn up one day. From the earlier post. That is chilling. Comment 2. Could your lawyer/the prosecution spin this as a hate crime as well? It would probably give her some extra years wearing orange. I'm also very glad that you survived. That must be horrible. Please see a therapist. You can get PTSD for lesser things. Comment 3. Hey man, from one firefighter to another, I'm relieved to hear that you're okay, and that your loved one and canine guardian are safe. Total loss structure fires are one thing, but when it's one of your own. Stay strong, brother. You've got this. Comment 4 puts her previous comments in another light, doesn't it? Her cheerful, he's a firefighter, maybe he'll die. I'm so sorry she did this to you, but I'm glad you're safe. Did your doggo survive? Story 2. MIL has an issue with my husband and I keeping our door closed. When my husband and I got engaged, there were clear warning signs. My mother-in-law was already expressing concern that our relationship was moving too fast. We had been together for 2.5 years at that point, but she kept suggesting that her son could do so much better if he just let her take control of his life. I bit my tongue to keep the peace for my husband, but I started lurking on this subreddit, hoping I would never feel the need to post here. We got married on a Friday night and checked out of our hotel on Sunday. Our honeymoon begins Wednesday, and afterward, we'll return to our place in another city, a 3-hour flight away from here. But until then, we were supposed to stay at his parents' house. That Sunday, when we arrived, my mother-in-law suggested that I sleep in one room with her, while my husband and father-in-law could sleep in another. She claimed it would help us bond, especially since we'd already spent 2 days in a hotel together. I honestly thought she was joking at first, but then I realized she was serious. I told my husband this wasn't okay, and he immediately began to stand his ground. My mother-in-law even asked him if I had instructed her to say this. I could hear them arguing from the other room, but in the end, he held firm, and she reluctantly backed down. However, she was cold to me the rest of the day. Later that evening, after my husband returned from hanging out with some friends, we went into our room. No sooner had I closed the door than there was a loud knock. Apparently, in my MIL's mind, closing doors was a serious breach of etiquette. She said it was incredibly rude, and the two of us should know better. I asked my husband if this was something he grew up with, and he was like, "Absolutely not, she's acting crazy." So, now we're supposed to leave the door open at all times, and honestly, this is getting out of hand. Am I the crazy one here? It feels insane, but maybe I'm missing something. By the time I realized how messed up everything was, it was too late to bring it up to my husband or suggest we go stay at a hotel or even at my parents', who live an hour away. My husband reassured me that we only had to get through Tuesday, then we were off to our honeymoon on Wednesday. But I'm seriously considering booking a hotel for Tuesday and telling him he can either come with me or I'll see him at the airport. Update. I finally talked to my husband about it. I didn't bring up going to my parents' place as an option, but I did show him the hotel website with all the details filled out and told him I was about to book it. I told him I wasn't staying there alone because, as his wife, I'm not going to feel safe in this situation. He asked for some time to think about it. After breakfast, he spoke to his mom. I could hear the whole conversation from our room. He told her that, now that we're married, we weren't comfortable with the open door rule, and if she didn't back off, we'd have to move to a hotel. She completely flipped out, telling him how disappointed she was that he was already taking orders from his wife, and then she tried to guilt-trip him by saying she raised him to respect his elders. Didn't my mom teach me the same thing? I bit my tongue and let him handle it. Eventually, after the threat of us leaving and losing the last day with us before we left, she grudgingly agreed that we could do what we wanted since we were apparently too insolent to be taught proper manners. So now the door can be closed. We're going out for lunch today, just the two of us, because I need a break from her. Wednesday can't come soon enough. Comment 1. Now you know that you can never agree to stay under her roof again because she'll use the opportunity to torture you. Comment 2. Wow. She's a bit of a monster, but I'm glad your husband is aware of it. Comment 3. Hotel. Never stay at her house again. Story 3. MIL tries to get me to pay half her car insurance, buy my car off me, and insults my hair within 10 minutes. So, I have 2 cars, but I keep one at MIL's house since our apartment complex only gives us 2 parking spaces. A few months ago, the battery died after a snowstorm, and I finally had the money to buy a new one. I went with FDH to swap out the batteries, and of course, MIL had to make an appearance. She came out to the garage and said, "Oh, good. I was going to talk to you. I found car insurance for your car for only $50. You pay $25, I'll pay $25, and we're good to go." I gave her a confused look and said, "First of all, I'm not paying insurance on a car I'm not even driving. Second, I'm here to take pictures of it now that I have a new battery so I can sell it." MIL's face lights up and she says, "Oh, you're selling it? I'll buy it off you. $1,000. Let's just remember here that she has no job and spends everyone else's money on cigarettes and booze. Yeah, no, thanks. I tell her, no thank you. My mechanic gave me a price range to sell it for, and $1,000 is way below that range. But thanks for the offer. She puffs up and says, HRMPH. Well, I know all about cars, and your car isn't worth more than that. I smile sweetly and reply, well, you're not the mechanic who worked on it. She glares at me and says, don't say I didn't try and offer. So, FDH and I finish up with the battery swap and take some pictures. We go back inside to say hi to FDH's best friend before we leave, and ML pops in. She starts talking about how beautiful she's going to look at the wedding, with her hair and makeup all done. She goes on until she realizes that no one's listening to her. She then tries to bring me into the conversation by saying, "Opie, I'm sure you'll look beautiful too. I can already picture your dress and hair and everything." Note, I haven't shown her any pictures of my dress or hair. She has no idea what I'm wearing, other than whatever nonsense she's made up in her mind. I try to be polite and ask, "Would you like to see a picture of the hairstyle I chose?" She says yes, so I show her a picture on my phone. She stares at it for a second and then says, "You are not wearing your hair like that." I look her straight in the eyes and sassily respond, "Yes, I am." MIL is not happy. She raises her voice and says, "No, you're not. You'll look ridiculous with those pink things in your hair." I just repeat, "Yes, I am." At this point, FDH finally steps in and says, "Opie can do whatever she wants. It's our wedding. It's not your hair, and she'll look beautiful with her hair like that. I can't wait to see it on the big day." Emile practically throws my phone back at me and storms out of the room. I glance back at the picture, and it suddenly hits me. Emile has no clue that the teddy bear ears in the picture are a Snapchat filter, not an actual hair accessory. Facepalm, but I'm not going to tell her that. I'm just going to let her continue thinking that. FDH, our best friend, and I had a good laugh about it though. Comment 1. I wore elf ears to my wedding. I'm a cosplayer and I just feel beautiful when I'm in elf mode. My Emile also did not like that, but her options were be quiet or not come to the wedding. My own mother had already been uninvited to her crazy antics, so I may have made the threat. Want to make it 2 for 2 of mothers not invited? To shut her up. Comment 2. You should be where the bear ears just to piss her off. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you in the next video.